Hey guys, it's Ralph Perez, Horror and Coffee, here with another rant about something I just found out. It's in reference to this article here. I'm going to share with you guys. I'm going to share with you bits of it. I am. I found out about this article from somebody I'm close to, and I was I bugged out because I knew of David Gordon Green doing The Exorcist, a direct sequel to the original 1973 film, which which I think is potentially a big mistake, right? Because that movie is such a standalone, one and done, that it shouldn't have even had sequels, let alone prequels, right? So now here we go again. After he did the Halloween trilogy, now he's gonna mess with The Exorcist. So I'm like, what's he doing? In this article, which funny enough, I wasn't aware of. This article was actually written almost a year ago. I saw the date on it. It's like January something, in the beginning of this year. I was like, oh, how come nobody told me this before? So now I know, right? So thank God for my sources. Now here's the thing. He's making a trilogy. A trilogy of this, The Exorcist, of this. Why the hell do you want to do that, man? If I was in front of David Gordon Green right now, I'd be like, dude, why do you want to ruin that? Okay, The Exorcist was the first film of its kind regarding demonic possession. It went over boundaries, it pushed boundaries, it made things happen. It shocked a nation. People were throwing up, people were having heart issues, people were hyperventilating, people were just rolling over fainting. And when I saw this film in the TV when I was 12, I couldn't sleep that night because I was shaken by what I saw. I was horrified. Okay. The Exorcist is a landmark horror film. I know William Friedkin said something to the effect that he didn't intend it to be a horror film, but sorry, dude, that's how it came out. It's one of the biggest horror films of all time now because it's scary as shit. Okay, so you have to understand where we're coming from with all this. So, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you this article about this trilogy and why they're going in that direction. And I kind of want to get your idea or your sense of what the hell this is about. So I'm going to make myself small and I'm going to make this kind of big, right? Kind of like this. And we're going to kind of go over the presentation here as we go over the article. Now, it says here, Exorcist release date, cast, and everything we know. Let me close this little crap thing in the corner. Everything we know so far about the remake. Will the Peace Soup fly once more? It was published January 20th, 2022. So it's been almost a year. I didn't know there was going to be a remake. Hold up. Let's see. All right. I'm not going to read the entire thing. I'm just kind of scrolling to the parts. You see, they talk about the make of it, the other Exorcist films, the so-called Exorcist Curse, who's in the cast. There she is, Ellen Burst, to reprise her role as Chris McNeil. I'm reading now from the article. Hollywood celebrity and mother of the possessed, Reagan McNeil. In the original film, Burston's character was a famous actress who had just split with her actor husband and was living with her daughter on set near Georgetown. Leslie Odom Jr. of Hamilton acclaim, he's from Hamilton, will be added to the new cast as the father of a possessed child himself, who seeks the help of Chris McNeil. So the idea is that there's a father who has a possessed child who's going to go to Chris McNeil for some kind of guidance as to what to do, because he obviously knows of her story of what happened to her with her daughter back in 50 so years ago. So let's see. It says here it's unclear if the characters of Reagan, Father Merrin, and Father Karras will be returned to the storyline, though the priests are unlikely to return as the original actors have since passed away. That makes complete sense. Father Merrin died in the original film, so I don't know what they're reading about there. He died. Remember, he died during the exorcism, and Father Karras threw himself out the window. Now, if we left that movie alone, he fell at the bottom of the steps and died at the bottom of the steps. Of course, not William Freakin, William Peter Blatty's Exorcist 3 had Father Karras in it as well. Apparently, he survived the fall, stayed possessed, and then there was this constant, the whole movie was all about that. So that's that's interesting. Now, let's see who else is involved in the production here. It says here, who else is involved in production? It says reportedly Donna Langley of Universal spearheaded the push for partnership between NBC, Universal, and Peacock with an aggressive bid for the Exorcist trilogy. Boom. It's a trilogy. Bad idea. As reported by the New York Times, the price of the mega deal came out of the tune of more than $400 million. But with the producers confident in the loyalty of diehard fans and moviegoers, I don't know about that. And with movie theaters sure to continue their comeback in 2023, those involved with the project are optimistic about the future of the franchise. You know who's not optimistic about the future of the franchise? This guy right here. This guy right here is not optimistic about it. I'm going to be pessimistic about it. You know why? Because you can't follow something like that up. Many movies have tried and failed. Now, admittingly, there are some that are amazing. There are even fun in nature. I'll give you an example. Evil Dead. Evil Dead is demon possession stuff, but it's definitely different. It's unique. It's funny. It's crazy. It's action packed. It's bugged out. It engages you in a different kind of way. There's no real deepness about it. No psychology. It's real light popcorn entertainment, fun stuff. It's comedic. And that's why I've always taken it. And I love it for that. So it has its own identity. It has its own print on it, fingerprint that's different from other possession films. The best possession film, in my opinion, to date has been the Conjuring, the first two Conjuring films. So yeah, So all right, let's see what it says here. I'm gonna keep scrolling. Okay. Chatting with Collider, Green also confirmed that the first film of the trilogy has been written and that the second two films are currently being outlined. Quote, so we've got a way to go on that, but we know where we're going, end quote, said Green. Quote, it's a new journey with some familiar characters and some new ones as well. What does it mean by familiar characters? Think about that for a minute. Father Marin's gone. Father Karras is gone. The mother is the only familiar character I would think about. Unless they're kind of keeping it under wraps and Linda Blair is going to make an appearance as an older Reagan McNeil. That would be mind blowing. People would love the crap out of that, right? But here's the deal. Here's the part that. Okay, check this out. He also says this. Green also tells Collider's Steve Weintraub that making the Exorcist films involves quite a change from the Halloween remake he just recently wrapped, despite both films being cult classic horror franchises from the 1970s. Quote, they are just so unbelievably different. One is very primal and the other is very academic. So it's just trying to switch gears here. I'm sure I'll know more a year from now when I've gotten a handle on what Exorcist is. The script's written, and it's a very entirely different writing process. End quote. Okay, let's roll with that. But here's the thing. This is the thing that ticked me off. There's something that he said here that irked me. Okay, nope. Nope. Hold on. I've skipped it. Let me go back. Dudes and dudettes. I am not kidding. This thing pissed me off. Actually, it goes. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find it. I was reading it earlier. He said something. He compared it to the Halloween franchise in the sense of no, no. This is what he said. He was saying something to the effect of um that a good percentage, like 80, 95% or 85% of the people that will go to watch this never saw the original Exorcist. So as a result, they'll love it. I seriously consider that to be very inaccurate. I really believe that that's not going to be the case. The majority of the people who's going to go see this are people who freaking saw the movie, the original one, the original classic. I'm trying to find it here. Here it is. Okay, it says, quote, I love to do these kind of movies because people are very emotional about it. Yeah, we're emotional about it. We're going to get pissed off. That's how emotional about it we are. Coño. All right. So I think it's a high bar. This is what he's saying. Quote, it's a challenge to do the movie. Remember, most of the audience coming to this, 95% of the audience who will, if we do our job right, come to see this movie, will not have seen the first Exorcist or even heard of it. Bullshit. That's yo, dude. I don't know where you're getting that information from. 95%. What chart do you have? What Excel spreadsheet are you using? Because that is so not true. Not true. My God. Oh man. Oh, I you see right there, that just tells me something bad is gonna happen here. Um, all right, so it says here also that oh yeah, I love this. Check this out. According to Jason Blum, though, The Exorcist will in fact be like Green's Halloween sequel in a way. Quote, I think it's going to pleasantly surprise all the skeptics out there, Blum told Den of Geeks. Quote, we had a lot of skeptics. Yeah. About Halloween. Yeah. And David turned them around. Turned them around. Yeah. And I think he's going to turn it around with The Exorcist. Can you believe the gall? You know what? Here's the deal. I obviously have to talk about Halloween here. For those of you who've seen my videos, I liked the sequel trilogy of the David and Gordon Green's Halloweens. Um, I liked the first one. I liked the second one. I was kind of like a little bit on. I liked the way the third one kind of played out, but I did it in a way because I understood completely why people hated the last film, Halloween Ends, because of it was all about Corey. It really wasn't about Michael Myers. So it was kind of like this. So, and I get it. I get it. Right. But I still couldn't help but like it. I don't forgive me. I just do. However, I do empathize with those who hate it because I see why they would hate it. Right. So I get it. I could see it through their eyes. I could see it through their lens. So knowing that and knowing how people didn't like the other two films either, that they were very disappointed. They hated the idea that Laurie Strode was not Michael Myers' sister in this particular timeline. Now they're gonna try those same exact people are gonna mess with one of the greatest, if not the greatest horror film in cinematic history, The Exorcist. Of course, you're going to be skeptical about it, but the way they're talking about it here makes it sound like everybody's on board. Like everybody's, ooh, I want to go see I can't wait to see it. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be scary. People are going to throw up. People are going to faint. People are going to do that. And I'm like, no, they're not. They're not going to do that. The people of our generation now have seen demon possession movies, everything from The Last Exorcism, to The Right, to The Conjuring, all the way up to recently, Pray for the Devil. You know, there's so many possession films out there now that it kind of has already taken away the you know, if you were to take those young people and who saw those movies and put The Exorcist in front of them, it probably wouldn't affect them at all. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, I saw that in The Conjuring. Oh yeah, I saw that in this. I saw that in that." And it's all right. You know why they say that? Because those movies exist now. Those movies didn't exist back then. The Exorcist was the first of its kind. It broke barriers. It broke cinematic barriers. It broke emotional barriers. It broke barriers that was just so insane that people just couldn't manage what they were watching. It was horrifying. It was disturbing. It messed you up and it opened your eyes up even wider to the potential reality of evil in our world in the form of demons. It messed up the Catholics, it messed up the non-Catholic Christians, and it drove atheists nuts. This movie broke barriers. This movie that they're making, or these three that they're making, will not. Will not. So I can tell you that with certainty. Even if the stories are good, they won't. All right, let's see what this says here. What will The Exorcist remake be about? I don't know why they're calling it a remake. According to Weintraub and his Collider, Green plans to continue the original story rather than remake it, with Leslie Odom Jr., the parent of a possessed child this time. Quote, desperate for help, he tracks down Burstyn's character, whose young daughter, Linda Blair, was possessed by an evil entity known as Pazuzu in the first film, writes Weintraub. End quote. Okay, so here's what it says after that. With Ellen Burstyn returning to her role, Leslie Odom Jr. joining the cast, and Green, Blum, and a whole team of others devoted to the project, audiences can be sure that the new trilogy will be a refreshing take on the story while keeping the essence of the original film. It's not going to keep the essence of the original film. The original film had an essence and deepness and rawness and realism about it that no other movie of that kind has ever been able to replicate. Not the sequels, not Exorcist 2, The Heretic, not Exorcist 3. Good as it was, it has its place. Still doesn't measure up. Those stupid prequels, the Dominion and the whatever the hell the other one was called. No, nowhere close. It was horrible, horrible. So what they're saying there, they're saying that to think that you know, that it's gonna be like this amazing thing. In fact, if I keep reading, it says Blum tells Den of Geek, I want to make a movie that works for both audiences. I want to make a movie for people that know and love the first Exorcist and are furious that we're doing this. Yeah, you're damn right I'm furious that you're doing this. But somehow drag themselves to the theater. Well, you know what? Of course, I'm gonna see it. This is Horror and Coffee. I watch movies and talk about them here on my channel. Of course, I'm gonna see it. How am I gonna talk about it if I don't see it? Right? So there it is. I want them to come out happy. I want to make a movie that people who've never heard of The Exorcist really enjoy. I think David did that with Halloween. I think he'll do that with The Exorcist also. Newsflash. David didn't do that with Halloween. As much as I enjoyed, especially the first two films of the sequel trilogy that just finished, as much as I liked those movies, I still pop in my Halloween 2 from 1981. Halloween, 1978, Halloween 2. They're both one cohesive narrative that ends with the Shape being blown to bits in the hospital. And that's where it stops. Sure, they continued it with Halloween 4 and Halloween 5 and, you know, and all the other whatever, Resurrection, H2O, yada, 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 yada. I get it, right? So now everything's split off into timelines now. Like there's so many different timelines and different scenarios. But those first two films to me are legendary. Those first two films were something that are not only nostalgic to me, but really held the true essence of who Michael Myers was. If those guys honestly really think that they're going to be able to grab the first real essence and feel of the original Exorcist and put it into not one, but 3 films for the next several years, the first one being released in October 13th of this coming year, 2023. If you really think it's going to be that way, I'm going to have to say that that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's really not. And I feel really bad about that. But the truth is, there it is. So that was bits of the article that I read. It's about a year old. I found out recently that it is going to be a trilogy, not just one film, but 3. So I don't know what to make of it. I think it's going to be I really think it's not going to work out. So that's how I feel about it. What are your thoughts? Talk to me. Comment below. Share with me what you think about what's coming up soon with this Exorcist trilogy and what you think David Gordon Green is going to do. Do you think he's going to do justice to the original film? Or is he going to just screw this up like many people out there thought he did with Halloween? Here's Ralph Perez. Horror and Coffee. Until next time, guys, take care.